श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लांभरधरं विश्वं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमतितितीर्षतां तमोन्दं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। योगीन्द्राय नमस्तस्मै शुकाय ब्रह्मरूपिणे संसारसर्पदष्टं यो विष्णुरातममुमुचत् कालव्यालमुखग्रास त्रासनिर्नाशहेतवे श्रीमद्भागवतं शास्त्रं कलौकीरेण भाषितम् एतस्मादपरं किञ्चित् मनःशुद्ध्यै न विद्यते जन्मान्तरे भवेत् पुण्यं तदा भागवतं लभेत्। ज्ञानवैराग्यसम्पूर्णान् हरिभक्तिपरायणान् पूर्वाचार्यातहं वन्दे सम्प्रदायप्रवर्तकान्। भगवन्नाम साम्राज्य लक्ष्मी सर्वस्वविग्रहं श्रीमद्बोधेन्द्रयोगीन्द्र देशिकेन्द्रम् उपास्महे। कलिकालोचितं धर्मं नाम संकीर्तनात्मकं निर्णेतुमवतीर्णं तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुक्त्यर्थं भवसागरे। मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वदा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यो दासोऽहं तव केशव। श्रीहरये नमः श्रीहरये नमः श्रीहरये नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Good afternoon, everyone. So I think today we have a bunch of people who said they are not able to be joining the class. So it's going to be a small group. Sriram Irkela?
Sriram illa.
Sriram illa.
Shreya pick up பண்ண போயிருக்கார் வந்துருவார் கொஞ்ச நேரம்.
So maybe I'll just leave it open. Any two people who want to do 13, 1 to 20 and 21 to 40. And then the others I'll pick as students.
Can do one.
Okay. Okay, so you do 1 to 20, so, and anybody else can do 21 to 40, okay?
I can try.
Okay, sure.
सूत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयादात्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा हास्तिनपुरं तया वाप्तविविस्थितः यावत्तः कृतवान् प्रश्नान् शता कौशार वाग्रतः जातैकभक्तिर्गोविन्दे तेभ्यश्चोपर रामः
First one, the
तं
first line, kshatta is it and the ta, okay, double.
என்ன திருப்பி சொல்லுங்க சாரி
kshatta kaushara.
शता कौशार वाग्रतः
Yeah.
करेक्ट तं बन्धुमागतं दृष्ट्वा धर्मपुत्रः सहानुजः धृतराष्ट्रो युयुत्सुश्च सूतः शारद्वतः प्रीता गान्धारी द्रौपदी ब्रह्मन् सुभद्रा चोतरा कृपी अन्या च जामयः पाण्डोः ज्ञातयः ससुता स्त्रियः प्रत्युजग्मुः प्रहर्षेण प्रणं तन्व इवागतम् अभिसंगम्य विधिवत् परिष्वङ्गाभिवादनैः
The first line, pranam. I think you said something else. Pranam, you said pranam tanva.
Okay. प्रत्युजग्मुः प्रहर्षेण प्राणं तन्व इवागतम् अभिसंगम्य विधिवत् परिष्वङ्गाभिवादनैः मुमुञ्चुः प्रेम बाष्पौघं विरहौत्कान्त्य कातराः राजातम् अर्ह याञ्चक्रे कृतासन परिग्रहम् तं भुक्तवन्तं विश्रान्तम् असीनां शुकमासने प्रश्रयावनतो राजा प्राहत्तेषां च शृण्वताम्
The first line, asinam.
आसीनं सुखमासने ओके तं भुक्त्वामन्तं विश्रान्तम् आसीनं शुकमासने प्रश्रयावनतो राजा प्राह तेषां च शृण्वताम् युधिष्ठिरो उवाच अपि स्मरन्तो नो युष्मात् पक्षश्चाया समेधितान् विपद्घनात् विषाज्ञादेः मोचिता यत्स मातृकाः कया वृत्त्या वर्तितं वः चरद्भिः क्षितिमण्डलम् तीर्थानि क्षेत्रमुख्यानि सेवितानि ह भूतले भवद्विधा भागवतः तीर्थभूता स्वयं विभो तीर्थि कुर्वन्ति तीर्थानि स्वान्तस्तेन गदावृता अपि न सुहृदस्तात बान्धवा कृष्णदेवताः दृष्टाश्रुता यदवः स्वपूर्यं सुखमासते स्वपुर्यां सुखमासते इत्युक्तो धर्मराजेन सर्वं तत्समवर्णयत् यथानुभूतं क्रमशो विनायधु कुलक्षयं नन्वा प्रियं दुर्विषहं नृणां स्वयं उपस्थितं नावेद यस्य करुणो दुःखितान् द्रष्टुम् अक्षमः काञ्चित् कालम् अथावासीत् सत्कृतो देववत्सुखं भ्रातुर्ज्येष्ठस्य श्रेयस्कृत् सर्वेषां प्रीतिम् आवहम्.
The first word is kanchit. You said kanchit.
Okay, kanchit. Okay. अभिव्रत अर्यमा दण्डं यथावद्ध कारिषु यावद्धार शूद्रत्वं शापाद्वर्षशतं यमः युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलं धरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभैः मुमुदे परया श्रिया एवं गृहेषु सक्तानां प्रमत्तानां तदीहया अत्याक्रामद् अविज्ञातः कालः परमदुस्तरः विदुरस्तदभिप्रेत्य धृतराष्ट्रम् अभाषत राजन्निर्गम्यतां शीघ्रं पश्येधं भयमागतं प्रकृत्या न यस्येह कुतश्चित् कर्हिचित् प्रभो स एव भगवान् कालः सर्वेषां न समागतः.
The first word was pratikriya.
Okay. प्रतिक्रियानयस्येह कुतश्चित् कर्हिचित् प्रभो स एव भगवान् कालः सर्वेषां न समागतः येन चैवाविपन्नोऽयं प्राणैः प्रियतमैरपि जनः सद्यो वियुज्येत किं तान्यैर्धनादिभिः.
And the last word kimutanyer.
किमुतान्यैर्धनादिभिः.
Yeah, interesting.
Somebody also offered, if anyone wants to go.
If you want to say it, go ahead, Jayashree.
Okay. Okay. पितृभ्रातृ सुहृत्पुत्राः हदास्ते विगतं वयः आत्मा च जरया क्रस्तः प्रकेहम् उपाससे अहो मयीयसि जन्दोः जीविदाशा यया भवान् भीमा भवर्चिदं पिण्डम् आदत्ते गृहपालवत् अग्निर्निष्टो तत्तच्च करोदराश्च दूषिताः हृदं क्षेत्रं धनं येषां तत्तैर् असूभिः कियत् तस्यापि तव तेहोऽयं कृपणस्य जिजीविषोः भरत्रय निच्चदो जीर्णो. Sorry, by
the first word paraitya nichato jirno.
Paraitya nichado jino jaraya vasasiva kadasvartamimam deham vikrado mukta bandhanah avignada gadir jahyat sa vaidira udakritah.
The first line after that comma is virakto. After virakto mukta bandhanah.
Deham kada swartamimam deham
virakto.
Okay. Kadasvartamimam deham virakto mukta bandhanah avignada gadir jahyat sa vaidira udakridah sa yasvakat parado deha jada nirveda atmavan kriti kritva harim kehat pravarjet sa narottamah adodichin disham yadu svair agnada kadir bhavan idor vak prayashak kalah Pumsam guna vigarshanah.
The second line, prayashah kalah.
Vidorvak prayashah kalah. Okay. Evam raja vidurenanu jena prajna chakshur bodhida ajamirah chitva sveshu sneha pashan tridimnu nishchakrama bhat pratru Sandarshidatva.
Actually, second line, the comma is after Dhradim no, okay? Just make the change.
Oh, okay.
After
okay.
Dhradim no, the comma is coming.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Padim prayandam subalasya putri padivrada chanu jagama shatvi Himalayam nesta danda praharsham manasvinami vashat sampraha idli kama tapa sultano.
Correct after praharsham.
Ajada shatru krida maitro huda எங்க கமா இருக்கு?
After Hutagnihi, Ajata Shatru Krita
Okay.
Maitro Hutagnihi.
Okay. Ajata Shatrukrida Maitro Hudaknihi Vibran Natva Tilago Bhumi Rukmaihi Griham Pravishto Guruvandanaya Na Chabashyat Pidarau Saubalim Cha तत्र सञ्जयमासीनं बभ्रच्छोद्विग्नमानसः कावल्गणे क्व नस्तादो वृत्तो हि नश्च नेत्रयोः अम्बा च हदपुत्रार्ता पृथुव्यः क्व कदः सुहृत् अभिमय्यकृतप्रज्ञे हदबन्धुः स भार्यया आशंसमानः शमलं गङ्गायां दुःखितोपदत् पितर्युपरदे पाण्डौ सर्वान्नः सुहृदः शिशून् अरक्षदां व्यसनदः पितृव्यौ क्व कदाविदः सूत उवाच कृपया स्नेहवैक्वल्यात् सूतो विरहकर्षितः आत्मेश्वरम् अशच्चानो न प्रत्याहादिपीडितः विमृत्याश्रुणि पाणिभ्यां विष्टप्यात्मानम् आत्मना अजातशत्रुं प्रत्युष्ये प्रभोः पादावनुस्मरन् सञ्जय उवाच नाहं वेद व्यवसिदं पित्रोर्वः कुलनन्दन गान्धार्या वा महाबाहो मुषितोऽस्मि महात्मभिः अदा जागम भगवान् नारदः सखदुम्बुरुः प्रत्युत्थायाभिवात्याहः सानुजोऽप्यसन्निभः सन्निभ.
And the second line after Vadyaha, there is no Visarga. So just Pratyuttaya Bivadyaha. Okay.
Oh, Visarga. Okay. Okay. वात्याः युधिष्ठिरुवाच नाहं वेद गतिं पित्रोः भगवन् क्व कदाविदः अम्बा वा हदपुत्रार्ता क्व कदा च तपस्विनी कर्णधारैवापारे भगवान् पाददर्शः अदाबभाषे भगवान् नारदो मुनिसत्तमः नारद उवाच मा कञ्चन यशो राजन् यदीश्वर वशं जगत् लोकास्सपाला यस्ये मे वहन्ति बलिमीशिदुः स संयुनक्ति भूतानि स एव वियुनक्ति च.
And the first line is Shucho Rajan, Kanchana Shucho Rajan. Okay, that word. You said something else.
Oh, Kanchana Shucho Rajan. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Rajesh, can I ask about number 5, the sloka number 5? Is it Pratyuja Muhu or Mra? Is there a MR?
No, it's a mu sound. Pratyuj Jagmuf Praharshena.
No R sound, right?
No R sound. It's a mu sound.
My book has a Mr.
Okay, so Jagmu.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll start from 41. So before we get, I think we covered meaning around until 39. So I'll tell the meaning from 40 to 59, and then we'll do. So first off, Anandji, you can be a student, and Madhu, you can be a student. First off. Okay, so in the last class, right, we saw in 13, we saw the arrival of Vidura. He had a long absence because he had gone for a yatra. He left before the Mahabharata war started, and then he finally now comes back. And then when he comes back, he shares the updates of all the places he has been to and all those things, except what happens in Dwaraka. So Vidura doesn't want to talk about it because he wants the Pandavas to learn that on their own, right? So he doesn't want to share that. And then when he comes back, he then gives instruction to Dhritarashtra to say, you know what, you're very old, your everything is fading in your body, and you're still so attached to materialistic things, right? So he says it's time that you renounce everything, you give up all of these things, and then you have to take that vanaprastham. You should have gone long time back, but you haven't. So at least now it's still not too late. Please get going right now. So overnight, we saw how Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and Vidura all end up leaving without telling anybody. And then the next morning, when Yudhishthira comes and he goes to meet Sanjaya, and then they both realize that none of them are there and neither of them knows where they have gone. So they all begin to worry about what happened to them and whether they did something wrong. So that was the time we saw when Narada enters the scene, right? So here, so Narada enters. So Narada, of course, he comes. He's always there whenever people are in a state of wondering what is happening. So Narada, of course, he gets received by Yudhishthira, everybody, and then Yudhishthira then asks Narada that I don't know where my two uncles have gone, Dhritarashtra and Vidura and Gandhari. They were already very grief stricken because of all the children losing all their children. But I've been doing a good job of taking care of them. But somehow I don't know where they have gone now, what has actually happened. And he says, Narada, you are like always like the ship who guides everybody in an ocean. Anybody who's lost, anybody who's in a conundrum, even when Vyasa was in a conundrum and he was thinking, Narada comes and then he guides them because he tells them what they should be focusing on. So Yudhishthira says, please tell us, what we should do and where they have actually all gone. So Narada first starts off by telling, that, Yudhishthira, he says, first of all, he says, you should not lament or worry about for anybody. He says, don't think that you have the one who has to take care because everybody is under the control of that single Lord, right? And he knows, and everybody knows that they have to worship him and they all do their worship to be protected, right? So he is the one who actually brings everybody together. He is the one who actually separates everybody. And he gives an example by saying how when a cow, which is actually tied to the rope, and the cow can actually go through a particular radius, right? It has free will to go around that particular circumference, but it cannot go outside. Similarly, he says every being who is on earth has a certain boundary and a certain period. Within that period and within that boundary, they can do whatever they want, but beyond that, they cannot because that is already predetermined, right? So just like how, everything is set up, that is how all these things are arranged. So you cannot lament about it, and he gives very nicely saying that even if you think of people who say, hey, look, the soul is eternal. Okay, great. Some people you say, okay, the material body that you have is easily perishable, and there's nothing but the supreme Brahman. All of those things, no matter what your belief is, no matter what you think, he says one thing is common. He says this feelings of attachment and separation that you're having, he says the whole thing is an illusion. You are creating that attachment and separation in your mind, right? He says it's not actually in existence because he says it's an existence because you're ignorant, because you keep thinking you are the one who can help the other person. You always have that false belief in yourself, right? Because sometimes we also tell others, right? Why do you believe that you are the one who has to always go help everybody else, right? You always feel like without me, they cannot succeed. Without me, they cannot exist, right? That's what Narada says. Don't think that is of the belief. You keep to think, you continue to think that you are the one who's helping everybody out. But he says you yourself are bound by, he says, by time, by kala, you're bound by time, you're bound by all the karmas, you're bound by material nature. So even you are bound by all of these things. So who are you to say that everybody else is dependent on you? You have this false notion about that. He says you have to quit that false notion, right? So don't think that people cannot exist without you. You're not indispensable, right? That's what Narada is saying, right? And then he says, he gives a few examples, right? He says at the end of the day, the people, creatures who don't have legs are eaten by creatures who have legs. The weak is eaten by the strong. So it says that's the nature of the cycle, right? You cannot keep trying to protect everybody. So he says the only option Yudhishthira and Sanjaya, Narada advises them, is give up all these false intuition that you have, right? And the ignorance you have. And the only thing you have to realize is there's only one person who's not bound by all of these things. And that's the only person you can actually hope for and wish and pray for. Don't think you are equivalent to that person who can protect everybody. Anyway, that's the advice that Narada gives. He gives a little bit more thing, right? Saying that, and then one last point Narada says then is, Bhagwan who has come here as Sri Krishna, you all are there right now. At some point, that Bhagwan is no longer going to be like present in that form in this earth. And once that point happens, it's time for all of you to leave also. That's a message that Narada gives to Yudhishthira finally in this message, right? And then he comes to the question of where Dhritarashtra and everybody has gone. So he says all of the Dhritarashtra, Gandhari and Vidura, he says they've all gone to the Himalaya mountains. They are in the southern side of the Himalaya mountains. And there in 52, he says they're in this place called as Saptasrota, I think it's coming 51. Saptasrota. He says that's a place where the Ganges is divided into 7 different branches. So Saptasrota, 7 branches. So that's where it's divided. So they are there in an ashrama in that place. So at Saptasrota, Dhritarashtra has actually taken the protection of some sages who are already there. And what he is doing is he's now beginning to practice Ashtanga Yoga, which he has already learned. So it's not like last minute Dhritarashtra is going and learning it. He's already learned it. He already knows it, but he's now implementing it, right? And he talks about how, he's taking bath 3 times a day. He's doing the Agnihotra sacrifice. He's only sustaining on water right now. So he's completely given up eating. And he talks about, how Dhritarashtra has now finally taken control over his breathing process and his body. And gradually, Dhritarashtra is coming to a point where he's going to eventually come to, Narada is kind of predicting the future here. He says he's going to come to a point where he's going to realize that he's one with the Lord. He's then going to abandon all these material attachments and everything he actually has. He's then going to get a complete spiritual focus, which means he's kind of going to the dharana, dhyana, that stage. And finally, he says Dhritarashtra is going to get to the spiritual realm. He's going to give up his body. And he says, 5th day from today, that's what Narada says, 5th day from today, because of his yogic power, a fire is going to come out and Dhritarashtra is going to burn in that fire. He's going to kind of give up his body in that fire, which is coming out of his yogic power. And then looking at Dhritarashtra, having done this, Gandhari will also get into that same fire and she will also pass away. And Vidura, having seen all these things, he's just going to leave both of them and he's going to go somewhere. So he says, do not worry about anybody. You are not going to be able to control them. They already have their thing planned. And the 5th day from now, Dhritarashtra is going to be gone. So having said that, Narada then leaves. Yudhishthira then says, okay, I'm going to move on with I'm not going to think about them anymore. That's where this thing comes to an end of the Dhritarashtra and everybody leaving and the Pandavas moving on from now. Okay, so we'll start from 41. Yatha gavo nasi protaha. So that visarga, that is there. You put a visarga comma, protaha. Tantyam baddha swadamabihi. Vaktantyam namabhir baddhaha. So put a visarga there, comma. Bahanti balimishituhu. Yata gavo nasi protaha tantyam baddha swadamabihi. Vaktantyam namabhir baddhaha. Bahanti balimishituhu.
Yatha gavo nasi prodaha tandhyam baddha swadamabihi. Vaktandhyam namabhir baddhaha. Vahanti balimishituhu. Yatha gavo nasi prodaha tandhyam baddha swadamabihi. Vaktandhyam namabhir baddhaha. Vahanti balimishituhu.
Yada kavo nasi pradoha tandyam bhakta swadamabihi vaktandyam nambabir bhattaha bhaganti balimisituhu.
I'm going to do on the first line, protaha.
Sorry. Yada kavo nasi prodaha dandyam bhatta swadamabihi vaktandyam namabir bhattaha bhaganti balimisituhu.
Yatha kridopaskaranam. So one word, kridopaskaranam, comma. Samyoga vigamaviha. Ichchaya kriditus syatham, comma. Tateiveshechaya nrinam. That's one word, tateiva ishechaya. So you can't break it. Tateiveshechaya nrinam. Yatha kridopaskaranam. Samyoga vigamaviha. Ichchaya kriditu syatam tateiveshechaya nrinam.
Yatha kridopaskaranam samyoga vigamavi ichchaya krididusyadam tadeveshechaya nrinam. Yatha kridopaskaranam samyoga vigamavi ichchaya krididusyadam tadeveshechaya nrinam.
Ananji, that end of the first line, vigamaviha, ha.
Oh, viha. Okay, visarga is.
Viha, yeah. You are ending it at B, that ha is there, that's all.
Okay. Viha.
Yeah.
संयोगविगमाविह
संयोगविगमाविह. Yeah.
यदा क्रीडो भास्कराणां संयोगविगमाविह इच्छया क्रीडितुस्यातां तदैवेशस्यार्निनां यदा क्रीडो भास्कराणां संयोगविगमाविह इच्छया क्रीडितुस्यातां तदैवेशस्यार्निनां.
The last line, tateveshechaya.
Okay. Tataiveeshechayarnina.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Yen manyase dhruvam lokam. So that ma that is there will break it. Put a im, comma. Next word starts with the a. Adhruvam vana chobhayam. Sarvata nahi shochyaste, comma. Snehad anyatra mohajat. If you want to break it, that da. Yenmanyase dhruvam lokam adhruvam vanacho bhayam sarvata nahi shocyaste snehadanyatra mohajat.
यन्मनस्ये ध्रुवं लोकम् अध्रुवं वानैचोभयम् सर्वदा न हि शोच्यास्ते स्नेहादन्यत्र मोहजात्.
Ananji, the first word manyase, in sound.
Which one does?
First word yenmanyase.
यन्मन्यस्ये ध्रुवं लोकम्.
Yeah, correct.
यन्मन्यस्ये ध्रुवं लोकम् अध्रुवं वानचोभयम् सर्वदा न हि शोच्यास्ते स्नेहादन्यत्र मोहजात्.
यन्मन्यसे ध्रुवं लोकम् अध्रुवं वानशोभयम् सर्वदा न हि शोच्यास्ते स्नेहात् अन्यत्र मोहजात्. यन्मन्यसे ध्रुवं लोकम् अध्रुवं वानशोभयम् सर्वदा न हि शोच्यास्ते स्नेहात् अन्यत्र मोहजात्.
Tasmaj jahyanga. So here, jahyanga vaiklavyam. So that ma, again you break it into im, vaiklavyam, comma. Next word starts with the a. Ajnana kritam atmanaha katam tvanatah kripanaha. Because we're going to pause there, put a visargan, comma, kripanaha. Varte ramste chamam vina. Tasmajahyanga vaiklavyam ajnana kritamatmanah katham tvanatah kripanaha varte ramste chamam vina.
तस्माज्जह्यङ्गवैक्लव्यम् अज्ञानकृतमात्मनः कथं त्वनाथा कृपणाः वर्तेरंस्ते च मां विना. तस्माज्जह्यङ्गवैक्लव्यम् अज्ञानकृतमात्मनः कथं त्वनाथा कृपणाः वर्तेरंस्ते च मां विना.
तस्माज्जह्यङ्गवैक्लव्यम् अज्ञानकृतमात्मनः कथं त्वनादा कृपणाः वर्तेरंस्ते च मां विना. तस्माज्जह्यङ्गवैक्लव्यम् अज्ञानकृतमात्मनः कथं त्वनादा कृपणाः वर्तेरंस्ते च मां विना.
Kala karma gunadhino, comma. Dehoyam pancha bhautikaha katham anyamstu gopayet, comma. Sarpa grasto yatha param. Kala karma gunadhino dehoyam pancha bhautikaha katham anyamstu gopayet sarpagrasto yatha param.
कालकर्मगुणाधीनो देहोऽयं पाञ्चभौतिकः कथमन्यास्तु गोपाये सर्पग्रस्तो यथा परम्. कालकर्मगुणाधीनो देहोऽयं पाञ्चभौतिकः कथमन्यास्तु गोपाये सर्पग्रस्तो यथा परम्.
कालकर्मगुणोदीनो देहोऽयं पाञ्चभौतिकः कथम् अन्यांस्तु गोपायेत् सर्पग्रस्तो यथा परम्. कालकर्मगुणादीनो देहोऽयं पाञ्चभौतिकः कथम् अन्यांस्तु गोपायेत् सर्पग्रस्तो यथा परम्
Ahastani sahastanam. Put the ma, put an im, comma. Next word starts with the a. Apadani chadushpadam. Phalguni tatra mahatam, comma. Jivo jivasya jivanam. Ahastani sahastanam. Apadani chadushpadam. Phalguni tatra mahatam. Jivo jivasya jivanam.
सहस्तानि सहस्तानाम् अबधानि चतुष्पदाम् फल्गूनि तत्र महदाम् जीवो जीवस्य जीवनम् अहस्तानि सहस्तानाम् अबधानि चतुष्पदाम् फल्गूनि तत्र महदाम् जीवो जीवस्य जीवनम्
अगस्तानि सगस्तानाम् अपदानि सदुष्पदाम् फल्गूनि तत्र मगताम् जीवो जीवस्य जीवनम् अगस्तानि सगस्तानाम् अपदानि सदुष्पदाम् फल्गूनि तत्र मगताम् जीवो जीवस्य जीवनम्
Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan. You will have a double na and a. So we're going to put a Rajan in, comma. Next word starts with the a. Eka Atmatmanam Swadrika. Antaro Nantaro. You can say that together. It's Antaro Anantaro, but that S symbol is there. Antaro Nantaro Bhati, comma. Pashya Tam Maya Yorudha. Tadidham Bhagavan Rajan Eka Atmatmanam Swadrika Antaro Nantaro Bhati Pashyatam Maya Yorudha.
तदिदं भगवान् राजन् एकात्मात्मनां स्वदृग् अन्दरोऽनन्दरो भाति पश्यतं माययोरुधा तदिदं भगवान् राजन् एकात्मात्मनां स्वदृग् अन्दरोऽनन्दरो भाति पश्यतां माययोरुधा
Pashyatam, that second line, I think I heard tam, it's just tam, okay.
पश्यतं माययोरुधा
तदितं भगवान् राजन् एक आत्मात्मनां स्वदृक्
Yes, Swadrik. Ka
स्वदृक् अन्दरो नन्दरो बाधि पश्यतं माययोरुधा तदितं भगवान् राजन् एक आत्मनां स्वदृक् अन्तरो नन्दरो बाधि पश्यतं माययोरुधा.
Madhu, on the first line, second time when you said Atmatmanam.
Oh, Atmatmanam. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Are they right? Did I say something wrong?
The second time you said something different. Now you said correct, yeah.
Atmatmanam. Okay.
Soya Madhya Maharaja, comma, Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavanah Kala Rupovatirnosyam. So till that you say it as one word because it's got the two S symbols there. Rupovatirnosyam. So that ma you break it as a im, comma. Next word starts with the a. Abhavaya Surat Visham. So it's Rupo Avatirno Asyam. Three different words there. So Hyamadya Maharaja Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavanah Kala Rupovatirno Syam Abhavaya Suratmisham.
सोऽयमद्य महाराज भगवान् भूतभावनः कालरूपवतीर्णोऽस्याम् अभावाय सुरद्दिशाम् सोऽयमद्य महाराज भगवान् भूतभावनः कालरूपवतीर्णोऽस्याम् अभावाय सुरद्दिशाम्
सोऽयमद्य महाराज भगवान् भूतभावनः कालरूपोऽवतीर्णोऽस्याम् अभावाय सुरद्विषाम् सोऽयमद्य महाराज भगवान् भूतभावनः कालरूपोऽवतीर्णोऽस्याम् अभावाय सुरद्विषाम्.
Nishpaditam Deva Krityam. That ma you break it im. comma. Next line starts with next word starts with the a. Avashesham pratikshate. Yavad. The next word, it will be easy to break at that ma if you want. Yuyam avekshadvam. Or you can say it together. Yuyam avekshadvam, comma. Bhaved yavadiheshwaraha.
Rajesh, second line, is it yavad or tavad?
Yavad, ya sound.
என் புக்ல எல்லாம் தாவத் யூயம் அவேக்ஷத்வம்.
That one is tavad. Next one, in the end it's yavad. So which one are you asking?
I was asking about the beginning of second line.
It's like தாவத்.
Second line, first word is tavad.
Okay.
Tavad yuyam avekshadvam. Then next word bhaved yavadiheshwaraha. That one is ya. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Nishpaditam devakrityam avashesham pratikshate tavad yuyam avekshadvam bhaved yavadiheshwaraha.
निष्पादितं देवकृत्यम् अवशेषं प्रतीक्षते तावद्यूयमवेशध्वं भवेद्यावदिमहेश्वरः निष्पादितं देवकृत्यम् अवशेषं प्रतीक्षते तावद्यूयमवेशध्वं भवेद्यावदिहेश्वरः
निष्पादितं देवकृत्यम् अवशेषं प्रतीक्षते दावत् यूयम् अवेक्षत्वं भवेद्यावदिहेश्वरः निष्पादितं देवकृत्यम् अवशेषं प्रतीक्षते दावत् यूयम् अवेक्षत्वं भवेद्यावदिहेश्वरः
Dhritarashtras saha bhratra, comma, Gandharya cha swabharyaya dakshinena himavataha. So put a visarga there, comma, himavataha. Rishinam ashramam gataha. Dhritarashtras saha bhratra Gandharya cha swabharyaya dakshinena himavataha. Rishinam ashramam gataha.
धृतराष्ट्रसख भ्रात्रा गान्धार्या च सभार्यया दक्षिणेन हिमवतः ऋषीणामाश्रमं गतः धृतराष्ट्रसख भ्रात्रा गान्धार्या च सभार्यया दक्षिणेन हिमवतः ऋषीणामाश्रमं गतः.
ராஜேஷ், எங்களுக்கு அந்த இது இல்ல, ஹிமவத்தஹ அந்த இது கிடையாது. கம்ப்ளீட்டா சேர்த்து சொல்லலாமா?
If you're not pausing, you can say it with Dakshinena himavata rishinam ashramam gatah.
Okay, thank you.
धृतराष्ट्रस्य भ्रात्रा गान्धार्या च स्वभार्यया दक्षिणेन हिमवतः ऋषीणामाश्रमं गतः धृतराष्ट्रस्य भ्रात्रा गान्धार्या च स्वभार्यया दक्षिणेन हिमवतः ऋषीणामाश्रमं गतः.
Srotobihi is there put it. Srotobhis saptha bhiryavai, comma, Swardhuni saptadha vyadat saptanam pritaye nana saptasrotah prachakshate. Srotobhis saptabhiryavai Swardhuni saptadha vyadat saptanam pritaye nana saptasrotah prachakshate.
क्रोधिभिः सप्तभिर्या वै स्वर्धुनी सप्तधा व्यदात् सप्तानां प्रीतये नाना सप्तस्रोतः प्रचक्षते क्रोधभिः सप्तभिर्या वै स्वर्धुनी सप्तधा व्यदात् सप्तानां प्रीतये नाना सप्तस्रोतः प्रचक्षते.
Anji, the first word srotobih.
Srotobih. श्रोतोभिः सप्तभिर्या वै
श्रोतोभिः सप्तभिर्या वै स्वर्धुनी सप्तधा व्यदात् सप्तानां प्रीतये नाना सप्तस्रोतः प्रचक्षते श्रोतोभिः सप्तभिर्या वै स्वधूनि सप्तधा व्यदात् सप्तानां प्रीतये नाना सप्तस्रोतः प्रचक्षते.
And the second word, first line, saptanam.
Saptanam. Okay.
Okay, 52. Snatvanu savanam tasmin, comma, hutva chagni yatha vidhi, abhaksha upashantatma, comma, sa aste bigathaishanah. I think the rest 8 we'll just do one time. Snatvanu savanam tasmin, hutva chagni yatha vidhi, abhaksha upashantatma, sa aste bigathaishanah.
नादानुसवनं तस्मिन् कृत्वा चाग्निन् यदा विधि अभक्ष उपशान्तात्मा स आस्ते विगतैषणः
स्नात्वानुसवनं तस्मिन् हुत्वा चाग्निन् यदा विधि अभक्ष उपशान्तात्मा स आस्ते विगतैषणः
जितासनो जित श्वासः, प्रत्याहृत षडिन्द्रियः, हरि भावनया ध्वस्त, then put a plus, रजस सत्व तमोमलः. जितासनो जित श्वासः, प्रत्याहृत षडिन्द्रियः, हरि भावनया ध्वस्त, रजस सत्व तमोमलः.
जितासनो जितश्वासः प्रत्याकृत षडीन्द्रियः हरिभावनयादस्तरजस्तत्त्वतमोमलः
जिदासनो जिदश्वासः प्रत्याहृत षट् इन्द्रियः हरिभावनया स्वस्थरजसत्वतमोमलः.
This is where just talking about how what process Dhritarashtra is going to go through, like he's containing his 6 senses and all of that stuff. Vijnanatmani samyojya, kshetrajne pravilapyatam, brahmanyatmanam, up to that one word, and then you can break it that ma if you want. Brahmanyatmanam adhare, gatambharam ivambhare. Vijnanatmani samyojya kshetrajne pravilapyatam, brahmanyatmanamadhare घटांबरमिवांबरे.
विज्ञानात्मनि संयोज्य क्षेत्रज्ञे प्रविलाप्यतं ब्रह्मण्यात्मनमाधारे घटांबरमिवांबरे.
The second line, first word, can you say that again? Brahmanyatmanam adhare.
ब्रह्मण्यात्मानमाधारे घटांबरमिवांबरे.
विज्ञानात्मनि संयोज्य क्षेत्रज्ञे प्रविलाप्यतं ब्रह्मण्यात्मानम् आधारे घटांबरम् इवांबरे.
ध्वस्त माया गुणोदर्को, निरुद्ध करणाशयः, निवर्तिताखिलाहारः. It's one word, nivartitakilaharah. You put that visarga and comma. Aste stanurivachalah, tasyantarayo maivabhuhu, comma, sanyasthakila karmanah. Some of these words you can't break it, unfortunately. So, dvastamaya gunodarko niruddha karanashayah, nivartitakilaharah, आस्ते स्थानुरिवाचलः, तस्यान्तरायो मैवाभूः, सन्न्यस्ताखिलकर्मणः.
द्वस्तामाय गुणोदर्को निरुद्ध करुणाशयः, निवर्तिताखिलाहारः, आस्ते स्थाणुरिवाचलः, तस्यान्तरायो मैवाभूः, संन्यस्ताखिलकर्मणः.
Aditi, that first word, Dvasta Maya Gunodarko.
Dvasta Maya Gunodarko.
Yeah.
Dvasta Maya Gunodarko Nirutta Karanashayah Nivartita Kilaharaha Aste Stanurivachalaha Tasyantarayo Maivabuhu Sanyasta Kila Karmanaha.
Tava Adhyatanat Rajan Paratah Panchamehani Kalevaram Hasyati Swam, tasya Bhasmi Bhavishyati. Shorty.
This is
Sabha
tacha. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is it tacha or tacha?
Tacha. Ich and cha.
Tacha. Okay. Sorry.
Half cha and full cha.
Okay.
Tava adhyatanat rajan paratah panchame hani kalevaram hasyati swam tacha bhasmi bhavishyati.
Sava adyatanadrajan, Sava adyatanadrajan, Paradak panjamehani, Kalebaram hasyati swam, Tachabasmi bhavishyati.
Anuj, the first line, adya. I think you said adhya. It's adhyatanat.
Sava adyatanadrajan,
Sava adyatanatrajan bharata panchame hani kalevaram hasyati swam tachapas basmi bhavishyati.
Dahya manegnibhir. So Agni, remember the Agni word is coming, but with the S. So Dahya manegnibhir dehe, comma, patyuf patni sahotaje, bahistita patim sadvi, comma, tam agnim anu vekshyati. Dahyamanegnibhir dehe, patyuf patni sahotaje, bahistita patim sadvi, tam agnim anu vekshyati.
Dahyamanoknibirdehe, Patyuspatni sahotache, Bahistida patim swadhi, Tamagnimaniveshyati.
The second line, sadvi.
Swadhi, patim swadhi.
Sasam. Okay, sadvi.
Dagyamani patyuf patni sahodaje bhagistida patim sadvi tam agnim anuveshyati.
Vidurastu tadascharya, comma, nishamya kuru nandana, harsha shoka yutas tasmad, comma, ganta tirtha nishevakah. Vidurastu tadascharya nishamya kuru nandana, harsha shoka yutas tasmad, ganta tirtha nishevakah.
Vidurastu tadascharya nishamya gurunandana harshashoga yudastasmad gandhatirtha nishevakah.
Vidurastu tad asharyam nishamya gurunandana arshashoga yudastasmat gandhatita nishevakah.
Ityuktva taruhat, one word, ityuktva taruhat swargam, comma, naradas sah tumburuhu yudhishthiro vachastasya hridi kritva jahachuchah. Ityuktva taruhat swargam naradas sah tumburuhu yudhishthiro vachastasya hridi kritva jahachuchah.
Itikta daruhat sargam, Itikta daruhat sargam, Naradas sagatum buruhu, Yudhishthiro vajastasya, Hridikritva jahachuchah.
Ityuktva daruhat swargam naradas sagatum buruhu yudhishthiro vachastasya idikritva jagashuchah.
इति श्रीमद् भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां प्रथमस्कन्धे नैमिषीयोपाख्याने त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां प्रथमस्कन्धे नैमिषीयोपाख्याने त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः.
इति श्रीमद् भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां प्रथमस्कन्धे नैमिषीयोपाख्याने त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः.
Switch to the 14th one. Priya, you can be student, and Revati, you can be student. So the 14th is not much, like in terms of core content. It is a lot of like examples, right? So there's not much to explain, but I'll try to give a core gist of what is happening, and some things maybe as we're going through those stanzas, I'll explain what the meaning is. It's very difficult to give too much of those things. We'll go through it as we go through examples. Anyway, so in 14, what is happening? So we saw last one that, Narada leaves, right? So Sutta Puranika is continuing the story now, right? He says, okay, and the timelines are a little bit, it's very difficult to plot, right? Because they don't say exactly which year what is happening, right? The stories are all getting mixed. So we know now that Narada has come and left, and he's told Yudhishthira, Dhritarashtra is going to pass away 5th day from now, so don't worry about it. So that has already happened. So then it suddenly starts by saying Arjuna leaves for Dwaraka. Now, I'm not quite sure, frankly, if Arjuna leaves for Dwaraka after this incident has happened or if he has left before. Okay, so that thing is a little bit, I'm not sure, but that doesn't matter. But I'm just saying. So he says that, okay, Arjuna goes to Dwaraka to see Krishna because, he has not heard from Krishna in a long time. So they probably go meet often and says, okay, so he decides to go on a trip to Dwaraka to see what's happening with Krishna, when Krishna is going to come, and all of those details. Few months pass. They don't know, they don't say exactly how many in this thing. A few months pass, and Arjuna has not returned yet. So they kind of said in the previous few chapters, we saw how under Yudhishthira's reign, everything was perfect. They gave all those examples, right? Everybody was behaving good. The country was very prosperous. There were no issues. They were setting the stage of how everything was perfect. So now, few months have passed. Arjuna has not come. And Yudhishthira starts observing some, inauspicious omens, in the kingdom. See, it starts off with a few examples, right? So it starts off by saying, that seasons are changing, right? So what used to be rainy season is moving to autumn, when fruits and flowers are supposed to come. It's not happening as per the plan. And Yudhishthira is beginning to see that people are becoming very greedy and they're taking on foul methods. So Yudhishthira is beginning to observe all of these things. And he's also beginning to wonder what is happening to Arjuna. Arjuna has not come for a really long time. Hope everything is well. And it talks about how people have become polluted with cheating, and even within family, there's a lot of fights that is happening. Husband, wives are not getting along, cheating happening between family and friends. So people have become accustomed to greed and anger. So when all of these things are happening, Yudhishthira feels something is not right. So Yudhishthira then goes to Bhima. And he goes and then he talks to Bhima. That's where the majority of this thing comes. He tells to Bhima that, look, I sent Arjuna to Dwaraka to check on Krishna. He has not come back at all. And it has been 7 months since Arjuna has left. That's why I said I'm not sure where this Narada conversation happened. It's been 7 months since Arjuna has left. So he has not come back. And, normally that is not the case. I have no idea where things are. And Yudhishthira also tries to connect what Narada said. He said, Narada told that a time has kind of come for Sri Krishna to leave the earth, right? So, and he says, has that time already arrived? Because Arjuna wouldn't have stayed this long, otherwise would have come back with some update, which I have not gotten. And then he goes on to say all of this that we have is because of Krishna being there, and now we don't know what we will do, but it's because of Krishna that we are all here. So he kind of starts thinking. Then Yudhishthira goes on to say that all these troubles I'm seeing, some alignment of the stars, my astronomer, whoever is telling his astrology, saying that your stars are not aligning nowadays. So kind of all of those things, physical suffering that we are actually seeing, he says all of those inflicts our body and mind, right? So my body I'm feeling weak. My mind is also very restless right now. And he says how, that left side of his body, his eyes and hands are all like shaking a lot nowadays. He's not able to get his sleep. So Yudhishthira goes on, right? That, like I said, is a majority of the thing. And he talks about how jackals are, are howling at night. He's hearing all these bad omens. And he says, like my horses, his chariot, he says, my horses, when they see me, they begin to weep. They're beginning to cry because they're seeing that something is going to happen to me, right? So they're beginning to weep when they actually begin to see me. And I'm hearing the sounds which are coming from the crows and the owls seem to be very off, right? It's very like horror kind of sounds which are actually coming from there. And the sun is getting very dark. So it kind of goes through a lot of those things, right? The rivers are beginning to get dry, I have a feeling. He says the calves are not going and sucking milk from the cows. The cows are not giving enough milk. They're all standing and crying. So he kind of goes through this long list, and I'll go through it as we, go through this. So this kind of goes on up to 21, right? So we'll stop there today in our in the class also. So that's what up to 20. He'll like in 20, if you look at it, he'll say Daivatani Rudantiva. He say when I go to the temple, I'm seeing that the deities are crying. right? And that it's like people are not worshipping anymore. Something is really off. So that's a complaint that Yudhishthira does for about like 15 stanzas, right? Of all the inauspiciousness that Yudhishthira is actually seeing. So this goes on till stanza 21. Okay, so we'll start one. Suta Vacha Samprastite Dwarakayam, comma, Jishnau Bandhu Didrukshaya. Jishnau means Arjuna. Bandhu Didrukshaya. Jnatum cha punya shlokasya, comma, Krishnasya cha vicheshtitam. Suthahuvacha Samprastite Dwarakayam Jishnau Bandhu Didrukshaya. Jnatum cha punya shlokasya Krishnasya cha vicheshtitam. You can do 2 times.
सूत उवाच सम्प्रस्थिते द्वारकायां जिष्णौ बन्धुदिदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विचेष्टितम् सूत उवाच सम्प्रस्थिते द्वारकायां जिष्णौ बन्धुदिदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विचेष्टितम्
Suta uvacha samprastite dwarakayam jishnau bandhu didrukshaya jnatum cha punya slokasya krishnasya cha visheshtitam. Samprastite dwarakayam jishnau bandhu didrukshaya jnatum cha punya slokasya krishnasya cha visheshtitam.
Vyatitah katichin masaha. So that is there, Butta Visarga, comma. Tada nayat tatorjunaha. You say it there, nayat tatorjunaha. Dadarsha ghora rupani, comma, nimittani kurudvaha. Vyatitah katichin masaha. Tada nayat tatorjunaha. Dadarsha ghora rupani nimittani kurudvaha.
व्यतीताः कतिचिन्मासाः तदा नायात् ततोऽर्जुनः ददर्श घोररूपाणि निमित्तानि कुरुद्वहः व्यतीताः कतिचिन्मासाः तदा नायात् ततोऽर्जुनः ददर्श घोररूपाणि निमित्तानि कुरुद्वहः
Vyatitah katichinmasaha tatha na ayat tatorjunah tadarsha gora rupani nimittani kurutvaha. Vyatitah katichinmasaha tatha na ayat tatorjunah tadarsha gora rupani nimittani kurutvaha.
And everything on the na ayat, you don't have to break it. You can just say it if you.
Oh, tatha na ayat. Okay. Thank you.
Kalasya cha gatim raudram, comma, viparyastarthu dharminaha. So this one, dharminaha is one word, okay, but up to that is viparyastarthu dharminaha. Papiyasim nrinam vartham, comma, krodha lobha nritatmanam. Kalasya cha gatim raudram viparyastarthu dharminaha. Papiyasim nrinam vartam krodhalobhan ritatmanam.
कालस्य जगतिं रौद्रां विपर्यस्तर्तु धर्मिणः पापीयसीं नृणां वार्तां क्रोधलोभानृतात्मनां कालस्य जगतिं रौद्रां विपर्यस्तर्तु धर्मिणः पापीयसीं नृणां वार्तां क्रोधलोभानृतात्मनाम्
कालस्य च कतिं रौद्रां विपर्यस्तन्दुधर्मिणः पापीयसीं नृणां वार्तां क्रोधलोपानृतात्मनां कालस्य च कतिं रौद्रां विपर्यस्तर्दुधर्मिणः पापीयसीं नृणां वार्तां क्रोधलोपानृतात्मनाम्
Jihya prayam vyavahritam, comma, shatya mishram cha sauhrudam, pitru matru suhrud bratru, and then put a plus, dampatinam cha kalkanam.
Rajesh ji,
Yeah.
the first word, could you say that again?
Jihya. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Jihma, sorry, not Jihya. Jihma prayam vyavahritam. was it, sorry, correct, Sindhuji, that's what you had a question?
Yes, my book has Jihma.
Yeah. जिह्मप्रायं व्यवहृतं शाट्यमिश्रं च सौहृदं पितृमातृसुहृद्भ्रातृदम्पतीनां च कल्कनम्
जिह्मप्रायं व्यवहृतं शाठ्यमिश्रं च सौहृदं पितृमातृसुहृद्भ्रातृदम्पतीनां च कल्कनम् जिह्मप्रायं व्यवहृतं शाठ्यमिश्रं च सौहृदं पितृमातृसुहृद्भ्रातृदम्पतीनां च कल्कनम्
जिह्मप्रायं व्यवहृतं शाट्यमिश्रं च सौहृतं पितृमातृसुहृत्प्रातृदम्पतीनां च दम्पतीनां च कल्कनम्.
and the bhratra kind of coming in the middle. Okay, so even though it's a plus, at the middle it will be the middle spot.
How do you split that then?
पितृमातृसुहृद्भ्रातृदम्पतीनां च
Okay.
कल्कनम्.
All right. जिह्मप्रायं व्यवहृतं शाट्यमिश्रं च सौहृतं पितृमातृसुहृत्प्रातृदम्पतीनां च कल्कनम्.
निमित्तान्यत्यरिष्टानि, one word, short e, double it at the beginning, nimittan. काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभाध्य धर्म प्रकृतिं, comma, दृष्ट्वो वाचानुजं नृपः. That you cannot break it. निमित्तान्यत्यरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभाद्य धर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्ट्वो वाचानुजं नृपः.
निमित्तान्यत्यरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभाद्यधर्मप्रकृतिं दृष्टो वाचानुजं नृपः निमित्तान्यत्यरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभाद्यधर्मप्रकृतिं दृष्टो वाचानुजं नृपः
निमित्तान्यत्यरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभात्यधर्मप्रकृतिं दृष्ट्वो वाचानुजं नृपः. निमित्तान्यत्यरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभात्यधर्मप्रकृतिं दृष्ट्वो वाचानुजं नृपः.
युधिष्ठिरोवाच सम्प्रेषितो द्वारकायां, कॉमा, जिष्णुर्बन्धुदिदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य, कॉमा, कृष्णस्य च विचेष्टितम्. So here is where the conversation between Yudhishthira and Bhima is starting. युधिष्ठिरोवाच सम्प्रेषितो द्वारकायां जिष्णुर्बन्धुदिदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विचेष्टितम्.
युधिष्ठिर उवाच सम्प्रेषितो द्वारकायां जिष्णुर्बन्धुदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विचेष्टितम् युधिष्ठिर उवाच सम्प्रेषितो द्वारकायां जिष्णुर्बन्धुदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विचेष्टितम्
युधिष्ठिर उवाच सम्प्रेषितो द्वारकायां जिष्णुर्बन्धुदिदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विशेषितम्. युधिष्ठिर उवाच सम्प्रेक्षितो द्वारकायां जिष्णुर्बन्धुदिदृक्षया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णस्य च विशेषितम्.
गतास् सप्ताधुना मासा, कॉमा, भीमसेन तवानुजः नायाति कस्य वा हेतोः. So put a visarga there in comma. Next word, naham, there is a ir that goes away. Naham vededam anjasa. गता सप्ताधुना मासा भीमसेन तवानुजः नायाति कस्य वा हेतोः नाहं वेदेदमञ्जसा.
गता सप्ताधुना मासा भीमसेन तवानुजः नायाति कस्य वा हेतोः नाहं वेदेदमञ्जसा गता सप्ताधुना मासा भीमसेन तवानुजः नायाति कस्य वा हेतोः नाहं वेदेदमञ्जसा
गता सप्ताधुना मासा भीमसेन तवानुजः नायादि कस्य वा हेतोः नाहं वेततमञ्जसा गता
Vededam, last word, Vededam Anjasa.
वेदेदं मञ्जसा गता सप्तादुनामास् sorry गता सप्तादुनामासा भीमसेन त्वानुजः नायादि कस्य वा हेतोः नागं वेदतं मञ्जसा
Vededam.
आयता वेदेदं
Yeah.
मञ्जसा
Api Devarshinaadishtah, comma, one word. Sa Kaloyam Upastitah. Yadatmanongam. So that word is Yada Atmano Angam, but that S symbol is there. So you have to say the whole thing together. Yadatmanongam Akridam, comma, Bhagavan Utsi Srikshati. Api Devarshinaadishtah Sakaloyam Upastitah Yadatmanongam Bhagavan Utsi Srikshati.
अपि देवर्षिणादिष्टः सकालोऽयमुपस्थितः यदात्मनुङ्गमाक्रीडं भगवान् उत्सिसृक्षति अपि देवर्षिणादिष्टः सकालोऽयमुपस्थितः यदात्मनुङ्गमाक्रीडं भगवान् उत्सिसृक्षति
अभिदेवर्षिणादिष्टः सकालोऽयम् उपस्थितः यत् आत्मनोऽङ्गमाक्रीडम् भगवान् उत्सिसृक्षति अभिदेवर्षिणादिष्टः सकालोऽयम् उपस्थितः यत् आत्मनोऽङ्गमाक्रीडम् भगवान् उत्सिसृक्षति.
And the second line, first word, Revati, Yadatmano, because the Atmano is already coming later, and the Yada
Is
is
it
the
yat
word.
atmano?
Illa. It's Yada Atmano.
Okay, I have yat atmano அப்படின்னு இருக்கு.
Illa. That's why I was correcting that, because in the Atmano, the A is already coming after the word Yada. So Yadatmano, Yada Atmano Angam. So Yadatmano Angam.
Okay, yadatmano angama kridam bhagavan utsi srikshati.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yasmanas Sampado Rajyam, comma, Darah Pranah Kulam Prajaha Asan Satpatna Vijayo, comma, Lokascha Yadanugrahat. Yasmanas Sampado Rajyam Darah Pranah Kulam Prajaha Asan Sapatna Vijayo, Lokascha Yadanugrahat.
यस्मान्न सम्पदो राज्यं दारा प्राणाः कुलं प्रजाः आसन् सपत्नविजयो लोकाश्च यदनुग्रहात् यस्मान्न सम्पदो राज्यं दारा प्राणाः कुलं प्रजाः आसन् सपत्नविजयो लोकाश्च यदनुग्रहात्
यस्मान्नः सम्पतो राज्यं ताराः प्राणाः कुलं प्रजाः आसन् सपद्मविजयो लोकाश्च यत् अनुग्रहात् यस्मान्नः सम्पतो राज्यं ताराः प्राणाः कुलं प्रजाः आसन् सपद्मविजयो लोकाश्च यत् अनुग्रहात्.
Rajesh, question.
Yeah.
The first line after Darya, is there a visargam where you have to say the half?
Yeah, the Daraha is there, and the Prana is coming later, right? So it becomes a F. Darah.
Darah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pashyotpatan nara. So Pashyotpatan nara Vyagra, comma, Divyan Bhauman Sa Daihikan Darunan Shamsato Durad. So up to that, the Dvayam, the and the Bha is there. You're going to break at that. Shamsato Durad, comma, Bhayam no Buddhi Mohanam.
Rajesh ji, that first word, Nara Vyagra or Vyagra?
Vyagra.
Okay, thank you.
Pashyotpatan naravyagra divyan bhauman sadaihikan darunan shamsato durat bhayam no buddhi mohanam.
पश्योत्पातान्नरव्याघ्र दिव्यान् भौमान् स दैहिकान् दारुणान् शंसतो दूरात् भयं नो बुद्धिमोहनम् पश्योत्पादान्नरव्याघ्र दिव्यान् भौमान् सदैहिकान् दारुणान् शंसतो दूरात् भयं नो बुद्धिमोहनम्
पश्योत्पादान्नरव्याघ्र दिव्यान् पौमान् सदैहिकान् दारुणान् संसतो दूरात् भयं नो बुद्धिमोहनम् पश्योत्पादान्नरव्याघ्र दिव्यान् पौमान् सदैहिकान् दारुणान् संसतो दूरात् भयं नो बुद्धिमोहनम्
ऊर्वक्षि बाहवो मह्यं comma स्फुरन्त्यङ्ग one word स्फुरन्त्यङ्ग पुनः पुनः वेपतुश् चापि हृदये comma आरात् दास्यन्ति विप्रियम् ऊर्वक्षि बाहवो मह्यं स्फुरन्त्यङ्गः पुनः पुनः वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आरात् दास्यन्ति विप्रियम्
ऊर्वक्षि बाहवो मह्यं स्फुरन्त्यङ्ग पुनः पुनः वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आराद्दास्यन्ति विप्रियम् ऊर्वक्षि बाहवो मह्यं स्फुरन्त्यङ्ग पुनः पुनः वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आराद्दास्यन्ति विप्रयम्
ऊर्वक्षी बाहवो मह्यं स्फुरन्त्यङ्गः पुनः पुनः वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आराद्दास्यन्ति विप्रियम् ऊर्वक्षी बाहवो मह्यं स्फुरन्त्यङ्गः पुनः पुनः वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आराद्दास्यन्ति विप्रियम्
शिवैशोध्यन्तम् up to that one word शिवैशोध्यन्तम् आदित्यम so that ma will break it into m comma आदित्यम next word starts with the a abhi rautya nalanana mamanga sarameyoyam again break it that ma sarameyoyam comma next word starts with the a abhirebhatya bhiruvat that's one word abhirebhatya bhiruvat शिवैशोध्यन्तमादित्यम् अभिरौत्य नलाननः मामङ्गसारमेयोऽयम् अभिरेभत्यभीरुवत्
शिवैशोद्यन्दमादित्यम् अभिरौत्य नलानन मामङ्गसारमेयोऽयम् अभिरेभत्यभीरुवद शिवैक्षोदन्द्यमादित्यम् अभिरौत्य नलानन मामङ्गसारमेयोऽयम् अभिरेभत्यभीरुवद
Here's the second time that you didn't, the dya sound did not come. Shivaishodhyantam.
शिवैक्षोद्यन्दमादित्यम्
शिवैशोद्यन्तमादित्यम् अभिरौद्यनलालना मामङ्गसारमेयोऽयम् अभिरेपत्यभीरुवत् शिवैशोद्यन्तम् आदित्यम् अभिरौद्यनलालना मामङ्गसारमेयोऽयम् अभिरेपत्यभीरुवत्
Revati, first line, last word. Rautya nala nana. Na. You were saying lala lana, you said.
Okay, Raudyana
Rautya nala nana.
Nala. Okay. Yeah.
Shastah kurvanti.
Okay.
Shastah kurvanti mam savyam, dakshinam pashavopare, vahamscha purusha vyagra, lakshaye rudato mama. Shastah kurvanti mam savyam, dakshinam pashavopare, vahamscha purusha vyagra, lakshaye rudato mama.
शस्ताः कुर्वन्ति मां सव्यं दक्षिणं पशवोपरे वाहांश्च पुरुषव्याघ्र लक्षये रुदतो मम शास्ताः कुर्वन्ति मां सव्यं दक्षिणं पशवोपरे वाहांश्च पुरुषव्याघ्र लक्षये रुदतो मम
Again, the first word, first line, Shasta. I think second time I heard
Shasta.
Shasta. Okay, sorry. Shasta.
शस्ताः कुर्वन्ति मां स्वयं दक्षिणं पशवोपरे वाहां च पुरुषव्याघ्र लक्षये रुदतो मम शस्ताः कुर्वन्ति मां स्वयं दक्षिणं पशवोपरे वाहां च पुरुषव्याघ्र लक्षयेरुततो मम.
The first line before the comma, savyam.
Kurvanti mam savyam.
Savyam, yeah.
Okay.
Mrityudhutah kapotoyam. Again, that mu will break it. Kapotoyam, comma. Ulukah kampayan manah. Pratyulukascha kuhvanaihi. So that ra that is there, put a visarga. Kuhvanaihi, comma. Next word starts with a. Anidro shunyam ichatah. So we'll just do one time for the next 10 minutes. Mrityudhutah kapotoyam ulukah kampayan manah pratyulukascha kuhvanaihi anidro shunyamichatah.
मृत्युदूतः कपोतोऽयम् उलूकः कम्पयन् मनः प्रत्युलूकश्च कुह्वानैः अनिद्रौ शून्यमिच्छतः.
मृत्युदूतः कपोतोऽयम् उलूकः कम्पयन्मनः प्रत्युलूकश्च कुह्वानैः अनिद्रौ शून्यमिच्छतः.
धूम्रा दिशः परिदयः कम्पते भूसहाद्रिभिः निर्घातश्च महांस्ताथ साकं च स्तनयित्नुभिः. धूम्रादिशः परिदयः कम्पते भूसहाद्रिभिः निर्घातश्च महांस्ताथ साकं च स्तनयित्नुभिः.
धूम्रादिशः परिधयः कम्पते भूसहाद्रिभिः निर्घातश्च महांस्तात् साकं च स्तनयित्नुभिः.
धूम्रादिशः परितयः कम्पते भूसहाद्रिभिः निर्गादश्च महांस्ताद साहं च स्तनयित्नुभिः.
वायुर्वाति हर स्पर्शो रजसा विसृजंस्तमः असृक् वर्षन्ति जलदाः. So put a visarga there, जलदाः भीभत्सम इव सर्वतः. वायुर्वाति खर स्पर्शो रजसा विसृजंस्तमः असृक् वर्षन्ति जलदाः बीभत्सम इव सर्वतः.
वायुर्वादिखरस्पर्शो रजसा विसृजंस्तमः असृग्वर्षन्ति जलदाः बीभत्समिव सर्वतः.
वायुर्वादिकरस्पर्शो रजसा विसृजंस्तमः अश्रुवर्षन्ति जलताः बीभत्समिव सर्वतः.
सूर्यं हत प्रभं पश्य ग्रह मर्दं मिथो दिबि short e ससंकुलैर् भूत गणैः. So put a visarga comma there. Next on the word jwalite, there is a ir that goes away. Jwalite iva rodasi. So he gives, like I said, a couple of examples. He says the wind is blowing big time, there's dust everywhere. The clouds are asuk varshanti jaladaga. There's flooding happening everywhere. At the same time, the brightness that is coming, the rays of the sun is also beginning to decline, and everything is getting very confusing, right? People are also animals and people are all getting very confused. Suryam hata prabham pashya grahamardam mitho divi ससंकुलैर्भूतगणैः ज्वलिते इव रोदसी.
सूर्यं हतप्रभं पश्य ग्रहमर्दं मिथो दिवि ससंकुलैर्भूतगणैः ज्वलिते इव रोदसी.
सूर्यं हतप्रभं पश्य ग्रहमर्दं मिथो दिवि सशङ्कुलैर्भूतगणैर्ज्वलिते इव रोदसी.
And the bhutaganaihi, we'll put a visarga there.
Oh, sorry. सशङ्कुलैर्भूतगणैः ज्वलिते इव रोदसी.
नद्यो नदाश्च क्षुभिताः सरांसि च मनांसि च न ज्वलत्यग्निर्. So you can break it that ra. न ज्वलत्यग्निर् आज्येन, if you want to, कालोयं किं विधास्यति. नद्यो नदाश्च क्षुभिताः सरांसि च मनांसि च न ज्वलत्यग्निराज्येन कालोऽयं किं विधास्यति
नद्यो नदाश्च क्षुभिताः सरांसि च मनांसि च न ज्वलत्यग्निराज्येन कालोऽयं किविधास्यति
नद्यो नदाश्च शुभिताः सरांसि च मनांसि च न ज्वलत्यग्निराज्येन कालोऽयं किं विधास्यति
न पिबन्ति स्तनं वत्साः, so put a visarga comma there, vatsaha, न दुह्यन्ति च मातरः रुदन्त्यश्रु मुखा गावो, comma, न हृष्यन्त्य ऋषभा, it's easy to break it that way, न हृष्यन्त्य ऋषभा braje. This is where it kind of talks about the calves are not drinking milk, the mothers, the cows don't want to give milk, right? And they're crying, and even the bulls, the rishabha, are also not plowing like they used to. Na pibhanti stanam vatsaha, na duhyanti cha matarah, rudantyashru mukha gavo, na hrishyantya rishabha vraje.
न पिबन्ति स्तनं वत्साः न दुह्यन्ति च मातरः रुदन्त्यश्रुमुखा गावो न हृष्यन्त्यऋषभा व्रजे
न पिबन्ति स्तनं वत्साः न दुह्यन्ति च मातरः रुदन्त्यश्रुमुखा गावो न हृष्यन्त्यऋषभाव्रजे
दैवतानि रुदन्तीव, स्विध्यन्ति ह्युच्चलन्ति च, so here ह्युच्चलन्ति च, इमे जनपदा ग्रामाः, पुरोध्यानाकराश्रमाः, that's one word, भ्रष्टश्रियो निरानन्दाः, किमगं दर्शयन्ति नः. दैवतानि रुदन्तीव स्विद्यन्ते ह्युच्चलन्ति च इमे जनपदा ग्रामाः पुरोध्यानाकराश्रमाः भ्रष्टश्रियो निरानन्दाः किमगं दर्शयन्ति नः.
दैवतानि रुदन्तीव स्विद्यन्ति ह्युच्चलन्ति च इमे जनपदा ग्रामाः पुरोद्यानाकराश्रमाः भ्रष्टश्रियो निरानन्दाः किमखं दर्शयन्ति नः.
दैवतानि रुदन्तीव स्विद्यन्ति ह्युच्चलन्ति च इमे जनपदा ग्रामाः पुरोद्यानाकराश्रमाः भ्रष्टश्रियो निरानन्दाः किमकं दर्शयन्ति नः.
Just do one more stanza. Manya etair mahotpataihi, put a visarga comma. Next one on top of the noonam, there is a ir that goes away. Noonam bhagavatah padaihi ananya purusha shribihi, visarga comma. Next one hina, there is a ir that goes away. Hina bhur hata saubhaga. So this is the last statement that Yudhishthira is telling to Bhima, which says that, all of this is an indicator that the good fortune, everything that we have is going to come to an end. He says this entire world has been blessed because Purusha Shribihi, the husband of prosperity, Krishna himself was wandering on this earth. And he says all the signs gives me an indication that that's no longer going to be the case, right? That's when the conversation is ending. Manya etair mahotpataihi नूनं भगवतः पदैः अनन्य पुरुष श्रीभिः हीना भूर्हत सौभगा.
मन्य एतैर्महोत्पादैः नूनं भगवतः पदैः अनन्यपुरुषश्रीभिः हीना भूर्हत सौभगा.
मन्य एतैर्महोत्पातैः नूनं भगवतः पदैः अनन्यपुरुषश्रीभिः हीना पूर्हत सौभगा.
And the class here today. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Sadguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai.
जय.
Yena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat. Karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Revati.
Thank you, Rajesh. Have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Rajesh.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.